Dance while you can.
Hey guys, my channel was down for over a year, and now I need your support more than ever. Don't worry, I won't ask where you were watching from, haha. I just need a little support. Hit that like and drop a comment. Thanks, you're the best. My wife thought I was stupid. That was her first mistake. The second was leaving her phone face up on the kitchen counter while she went to grab her morning coffee. The notification lit up the screen like a neon sign. Can't wait to see you tonight. Your husband working late again? I didn't react, didn't even blink. Just kept eating my cereal and reading the morning news on my tablet like nothing happened. But inside, something cold and calculating clicked into place. Sarah walked back into the kitchen, her heels clicking against the tile floor with that practiced confidence she'd perfected over 8 years of marriage. She was always performing, always playing the role of the successful PR woman who'd somehow gotten stuck with the boring IT guy. "Morning, honey," she said, kissing the top of my head without looking at me. "I've got that late meeting with the Peterson Development Group tonight. Might not be home until after 10. "No problem," I replied, spooning another bite of cereal. "I'll probably be debugging the city's email server anyway." You know how it is. She grabbed her phone, glanced at the screen, and smiled. Not at me, at whatever message she was reading. "Have a good day at work, Dave," she said, already heading toward the door. "You too, Sarah. Hope your meeting goes well." The door closed behind her with a soft click. I sat there for another 5 minutes, finishing my breakfast in the silence of our kitchen that she'd insisted on redecorating last year. Our kitchen, where she'd complained about my lack of ambition just 3 days ago. I rinsed my bowl in the sink and walked to my home office. 20 minutes later, I'd installed a keylogger on her laptop and configured our home router to log all her internet activity. Not illegal when it's your own network and your own devices. I built the city's network. I know exactly where rats hide. By lunch, I had enough evidence to destroy a small country. Sarah wasn't just having an affair. She was having an affair with Tyler Morrison, the city councilman's son who played jazz at the local bars and considered himself Banger's answer to Miles Davis. The messages went back 9 months. 9 months of your loser husband and can't wait to get away from him, and detailed descriptions of exactly what they were doing in room 247 at the Marriott every Tuesday and Thursday, including during our anniversary trip to Bar Harbor. She stepped out for fresh air while I was in the shower. Apparently, fresh air meant 20 minutes of phone closeness with Tyler in the hotel parking lot. "He still thinks I love him," she'd typed to Tyler 2 weeks ago. Like a Labrador that pays taxes. I leaned back in my office chair and stared at the screen. Sarah was at lunch with her girlfriends, probably complaining about how I never took her anywhere exciting. Tyler was at his day job selling insurance, probably counting down the minutes until he could text her again. Neither of them knew I existed in any meaningful way. I was furniture, a paycheck, something to be worked around. My phone buzzed. Text from my brother-in-law, Mike. "Hey, you coming to the game tonight? Sarah said you might be free." I typed back. "Can't make it, working late. Tell everyone I said hi." Working late, right. I had work to do, but it wasn't the kind Mike would understand. I picked up my phone and called my old high school buddy, Jake. He ran a handyman business now, but back in the day, he'd been the guy who could get you anything you needed. Sometimes legally. "Dave? Holy crap, man, what's up?" "Jake, I need a favor. Nothing illegal, just creative." "I'm listening. You still know how to get into places, buildings and stuff?" "Depends on the building." "And why you're asking?" "Someone's been parking in my spot. I want to leave them a message." Jake laughed. "What kind of message?" "The kind that gets their attention without getting me arrested." "I like it. When do you need this done?" "Tonight. I'll text you the details." I hung up and went back to my computer. Tyler Morrison drove a red Mustang convertible, license plate Jazzman 1. He parked it in the same spot behind Patty's Bar every Tuesday and Thursday night while he played his sad cover songs for drunk college students. Tonight was Tuesday. I spent the rest of the afternoon planning, not just tonight, but everything. Sarah wanted to play games? Fine, but she'd picked the wrong opponent. At 6 p.m. I texted her, "Working late like you thought. See you tomorrow morning." She texted back, "Okay, honey. Love you. Love, right." I drove to Patty's Bar and parked across the street. Tyler's Mustang was there, gleaming red under the streetlights. Through the window, I could see him on stage, guitar in hand. singing something soulful to a crowd of maybe 15 people. Jake pulled up in his work van at 8:30, right on schedule. "You sure about this?" he asked, getting out with a small toolbox. "I'm sure." It took him less than 5 minutes to pop the lock on Tyler's car. I slid a USB drive under the passenger seat and left a note on the dashboard. "Next time you park in my spot, I'll make sure you walk home." The USB contained a single video file. Security footage from our bedroom closet, showing me watching them through the crack in the door. 15 minutes of me standing perfectly still, just watching. No audio, no movement, just me, staring. The message was clear. "I see you. I know where you are. I know what you're doing. Game on." The next morning, Sarah was quieter than usual. She kept checking her phone, frowning at the screen. "Everything okay?" I asked, buttering my toast. "Tyler's acting weird," she said, then caught herself. "I mean the Morrison boy. He seemed off at the city meeting yesterday." "Which Morrison boy?" "The one who plays music. Tyler. He looked, I don't know, paranoid." I nodded sympathetically. "Maybe he's having girl trouble?" She shot me a look. "What makes you say that?" "Just a guess. Young guys like that, they're usually stressed about relationships." Sarah went back to her phone. 3 minutes later, she was texting furiously. I already knew what Tyler had found in his car. I'd been monitoring his phone since yesterday. The poor boy was freaking out, sending her message after message. "Who the heck is watching us?" And, "This is seriously messed up, and maybe we should cool it for a while." Sarah was trying to calm him down, but Tyler Morrison wasn't the kind of guy who handled pressure well. He was used to being the cool jazz musician, the councilman's son, the guy who could charm his way out of anything. Being watched by a husband he'd written off as harmless was breaking his brain. "I'm going to be late tonight," Sarah said, grabbing her keys. "Big presentation for the waterfront development." "No problem. I'll grab dinner with Mike." She paused at the door. "Dave? Yeah? Do you ever... have you noticed anything strange lately around the house?" I looked up from my newspaper. "Strange how? I don't know, just different." "Nope. Everything seems normal to me. Why?" She shook her head. "Nothing. Just tired, I guess." After she left, I called my boss at the city IT department. "Tom, it's Dave. I need to run some maintenance on the electrical grid downtown." "Nothing major, just updating some firmware." "Which buildings?" "The Morrison Insurance Building on State Street. Should only take about an hour." "Tyler Morrison's place? That's the one." "No problem. I'll clear it with the city manager." Tom had been my boss for 6 years. He knew I was good at my job, knew I didn't ask for favors unless I needed them. More importantly, he knew I was the guy who kept the city's computers running when everyone else went home. At 7 p.m., I walked into the Morrison Insurance Building with my official city ID and a tablet full of maintenance schedules. The security guard waved me through without a second glance. Tyler's office was on the 3rd floor. Corner unit, big windows, expensive furniture that Daddy had probably paid for. I plugged a small device into his computer's USB port and waited for it to install. The device would give me remote access to his system. Not illegal when you're doing maintenance on city-connected networks. Tyler's insurance business processed city worker policies, which meant his system was technically part of the municipal network. Technically. By 8 p.m., I was back home, cooking dinner and reading Tyler's emails. He'd sent 17 messages to Sarah in the past 4 hours, each one more desperate than the last. "We need to talk. This is getting crazy. I think someone knows. Maybe we should tell him. I can't handle this anymore." Sarah's responses were getting shorter and more irritated. Tyler was supposed to be her escape from boring married life, not another source of stress. At 9:30, my phone rang. Sarah. "Hey, honey. Running even later than expected. Don't wait up. Everything okay? You sound stressed." "Just work stuff. The Peterson group is being difficult." "Well, hang in there. I'll see you in the morning." "Love you. Love you too." I hung up and opened Tyler's calendar. He had a gig at Patty's Bar tomorrow night. Perfect. I spent the next hour researching the bar's sound system. They used a standard PA setup with Bluetooth connectivity, the kind of system that someone with my skills could access from the parking lot. Someone with my skills and a very specific audio file. I'd been recording Sarah and Tyler's phone calls for 3 days now. Not just the conversations, but the other sounds, the moaning, the dirty talk. the audio of them in our bed while I was at work. Tomorrow night, Patty's Bar was going to get a very special musical performance. Thursday night, I sat in my car across from Patty's Bar, laptop open, watching Tyler set up his equipment. He looked nervous, constantly checking his phone, scanning the crowd like he expected someone to jump out of the shadows. Sarah was supposed to meet him after his first set. She'd told me she was having dinner with her mother. At 9 p.m., Tyler stepped up to the microphone. "Good evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Morrison, and I'll be playing some jazz standards for you tonight." He started with Autumn Leaves. Nice choice. Appropriate, considering his world was about to fall apart. I waited until he was halfway through Blue Moon before I activated my little surprise. The music stopped. Tyler looked confused, tapping his microphone. Then the speakers crackled to life. "Oh God, Tyler, yes, right there, harder." Sarah's voice filled the bar, crystal clear and unmistakable. The audio was from Tuesday night when Tyler had called her while I was supposedly in the shower. "You feel so much better than my husband. He's so boring. I can't stand it when he touches me." Tyler's face went white. He lunged for his equipment, trying to shut off the speakers, but I'd locked him out of the system. "Tell me what you want to do to me. I'm so wet thinking about you. Dave has no idea. He's so pathetic." The bar had gone completely silent. Every eye was on Tyler, who was frantically pressing buttons and pulling cables. The audio kept playing. "I wish I'd never married him. You're so much better, so much bigger. I fake it every time with Dave." Someone in the crowd laughed, then someone else. Within 30 seconds, the entire bar was howling with laughter while Tyler Morrison stood frozen on stage, listening to his lover describe exactly what she thought of her husband. The audio cut out. Tyler grabbed his guitar and ran for the exit, pushing through the crowd of people who were now taking pictures and videos with their phones. Sarah's car was pulling into the parking lot just as Tyler burst out the front door. She saw him running, saw the people streaming out of the bar with their phones, saw the looks on their faces. She put her car in reverse and drove away. I sat in my car for another 5 minutes, watching the chaos unfold. Then I started my engine and drove home. Sarah was already there when I arrived, sitting on the couch with a glass of wine, staring at her phone. "How was dinner with your mom?" I asked, hanging up my coat. "Fine. Boring. You know how she is." "Yeah. I grabbed a burger and watched the game at Mike's. Celtics won." "That's nice." Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and her face went pale. "Everything okay?" "Just work stuff." Someone sent me a video of that Morrison boy making a fool of himself at Patty's Bar. Apparently his sound system malfunctioned. "That's too bad. Technical difficulties happen." "Yeah, they do." She went to bed early that night. I stayed up, monitoring Tyler's panicked text messages to Sarah. "This is insane. Someone's messing with me." "I think your husband knows. We need to be more careful. Maybe we should stop seeing each other. I can't handle this anymore." Sarah's responses were getting colder by the hour. Tyler was supposed to be her confident, sophisticated lover. Instead, he was falling apart at the first sign of trouble. She was already getting bored with him. I closed my laptop and went to bed. Tomorrow, I'd take things to the next level. Friday morning, I anonymously mailed a manila envelope to Councilman Morrison's office. Inside were hotel receipts, restaurant bills, and a printed copy of Tyler's credit card statements showing regular payments to the Marriott. Also included was a note. "Your son is using the family name to seduce married women. Thought you should know." I signed it, "A concerned citizen." By noon, Tyler's trust fund had been frozen. His father called him into the office for what Tyler's text messages described as the worst conversation of my life. "Dad cut me off," Tyler texted Sarah. "He knows about us. He's furious." "What did you tell him?" "Nothing, but he has receipts. Hotel bills, everything." "How did he get those?" "I don't know. Someone sent them to him." Sarah called in sick to work and came home early. She spent the afternoon pacing around the house, checking her phone every 5 minutes. "You're home early," I said when I got back from the office. Felt like I was coming down with something. Thought I'd rest. "Good idea. There's a bug going around the office." She nodded absently. "Dave, can I ask you something?" "Sure. Do you think I'm a good person?" I looked up from my laptop. "What kind of question is that?" "I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I make good choices." You're human, Sarah. We all make mistakes. What if they're big mistakes, like life-changing mistakes? I closed my laptop and sat down next to her on the couch. What's going on? You've been acting strange all week. Just work stress. The Peterson project is more complicated than I thought. Well, whatever it is, we'll figure it out together. That's what marriage is for, right? She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Right. Together. That night, Tyler came to our house. I watched him through the window, sitting in his car for 10 minutes before getting the courage to walk to our door. He looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, the kind of desperate energy that comes from having your world collapse in 48 hours. I opened the door before he could knock. Tyler Morrison, I said. What brings you to my neighborhood? He stared at me like I was a ghost. I wanted to talk to you. About what? About Sarah. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. What about my wife? I think there's something you should know. I'm listening. He opened his mouth, then closed it, then opened it again. Sarah and I, yes? We've been having an affair. I let that hang in the air for a moment. Then I smiled. I know. His face went white. You know? Tyler, I've known since Monday. I've been watching you scramble around like a chicken with its head cut off, wondering who was messing with you. I stepped closer. It was me. You, the USB in your car, the audio at Patty's bar, the envelope to your father, all me. But you're just what? Just a boring IT guy, just Sarah's loser husband? I leaned against the porch railing. Tyler, I run the computer systems for an entire city. I know more about surveillance, networking, and digital forensics than you'll learn in 10 lifetimes. And you thought you could outsmart me? He took a step back. Look, I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Sarah and I, we connected. Connected? That's a nice way to put it. I came here to tell you the truth. To do the right thing. No, Tyler. You came here because your daddy cut you off and your girlfriend is losing interest. You came here because you're scared and you don't know what else to do. That's not true, isn't it? When did you decide to confess? Before or after your trust fund got frozen? He didn't answer. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to get in your car and drive away. You're going to stop calling my wife. Stop texting her. Stop thinking about her. And if I see you anywhere near my house or my wife again, I'll make sure everyone in this town knows exactly what kind of man you really are. You can't threaten me. I'm not threatening you, Tyler. I'm educating you. There's a difference. I walked back to my door. Oh, and Tyler, you might want to find a new place to play music. I heard Patty's Bar is looking for someone with better technical skills. I went inside and locked the door. Tyler stood on my porch for another minute, then got in his car and drove away. Sarah was waiting in the living room. Who was that? She asked. Tyler Morrison. He wanted to apologize for something that happened at his insurance office. City network glitch? Oh, that's weird. Why would he come here? I guess he felt bad about the inconvenience. She nodded, but I could see the wheels turning in her head. I'm going to bed early. I'm still not feeling well. Good idea. I'll be up in a few hours. After she went upstairs, I opened my laptop and started the next phase of my plan. Saturday morning, Sarah asked for a divorce. I can't do this anymore, Dave. I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. We were sitting at the kitchen table, the same place where I'd first seen Tyler's text message 6 days ago. She'd made coffee and toast, like this was just another morning conversation. Is there someone else? I asked. No, this is about us, about what we've become. What have we become? Strangers, roommates. We don't talk anymore, don't laugh together. We're just going through the motions. I sipped my coffee. You're probably right. She looked surprised. You agree? Sarah, I've watched you check out of this marriage for months. You're miserable when you're here. You light up when you talk about work, about your friends, about anything that doesn't involve me. I didn't think you noticed. I notice everything. It's part of my job. So you're okay with this? With getting divorced? I set down my coffee cup. I'm okay with whatever makes you happy. But I have some conditions. Conditions? I keep the house. You can have the car, the furniture, whatever you want. But the house stays with me. Dave, we bought this house together. I have equity in it. Check the deed, Sarah. Check the mortgage documents. Everything's in my name. You wanted me to handle the paperwork because you were too busy with work, remember? Her face went pale. That can't be legal. It's perfectly legal. You signed the papers. I have copies. But that's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I leaned back in my chair. You've been sleeping with Tyler Morrison for 9 months. You've been lying to me, mocking me, planning your escape while I paid the bills and did your laundry. And now you want to talk about fair? How do you know about Tyler? I told you. I notice everything. She started crying. Not the pretty tears she used when she wanted something, but ugly, desperate sobs. Dave, I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Tyler and I, we fell in love. No, Sarah, you fell in lust. There's a difference. I was going to tell you. I was trying to figure out how. By asking for a divorce without mentioning him? That was your plan? I didn't want to hurt you. Too late for that. She wiped her eyes. What do you want from me? I want you to be honest. For once in your life, just be honest. Fine. Yes, I'm in love with Tyler Morrison. Yes, we've been having an affair. Yes, I was going to leave you for him. Are you happy now? Getting there. So what happens now? Now you call Tyler and tell him the good news. You're free to be together. No more sneaking around. No more lies. Just pure, honest love. You're being sarcastic. Am I? Go ahead. Call him. Tell him you're getting divorced and you can finally be together. She picked up her phone, then put it down. I can't. Why not? Because he's not ready for that. His father cut him off. He's stressed about money. This isn't a good time. So you're saying Tyler Morrison is fine with screwing another man's wife, but he's not ready for the responsibility of actually being with her? It's complicated. No, Sarah, it's simple. Tyler wanted the excitement of an affair without the commitment of a relationship, and you wanted the thrill of cheating without the consequences of leaving. That's not true. Then call him. Prove me wrong. She stared at her phone for a long moment. Then she started crying again. I've made such a mess of everything. Yes, you have. Is there any way we can work this out? Go to counseling or something. Sarah, you spent 9 months telling another man that you hated being married to me. You described our closeness in detail, laughed about my job, made plans for your life after I was gone. And now you want to work it out? I was confused. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were thinking perfectly clearly. You just didn't expect to get caught. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, What do you want from me? I want you to pack your things and leave tonight. Go stay with your sister, go stay with Tyler, go stay wherever you want. But I want you out of my house. And then what? Then we'll file the papers and you can start your new life. Isn't that what you wanted? She nodded, still crying. Good. I'll be at Mike's until 8. When I come back, I want you gone. I stood up and walked to the door. Dave? Yeah? For what it's worth, I really am sorry. I know you are, Sarah. You're sorry you got caught. I spent the afternoon at my brother-in-law's house, watching football and drinking beer. Mike didn't ask questions, just handed me a cold one and turned up the volume. You want to talk about it? He asked during halftime. Sarah's leaving me. I'm sorry, man. You okay? I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. That's a weird reaction to your wife leaving you. It's been a weird week. Mike nodded. You need anything? Place to stay? Someone to talk to? Nah, I'm good. This is probably the best thing that could happen to me. If you say so, I do. At 8 p.m., I drove home. Sarah's car was gone. The house was empty except for a note on the kitchen table. I took some clothes and personal items. I'll come back for the rest later. I'm staying at Rachel's. I'm sorry about everything. I crumpled up the note and threw it away. Then I opened a beer and sat on my couch in my house, in my life that was finally mine again. My phone buzzed. Text from Tyler. Is it true? Are you really getting divorced? I typed back, yes. She's all yours now. Good luck. He didn't respond. I spent the evening cleaning house, literally and figuratively. I changed the locks, canceled her credit cards, and removed her from all the accounts. Then I sat down with my laptop and started phase 2 of my plan. Sarah thought the divorce was the end of the story. She was wrong. It was just the beginning. Monday morning, I called Sarah's boss. Hi, Jennifer. This is Dave Peterson, Sarah's husband. Dave, how are you? I haven't seen you since the Christmas party. I'm good. Listen, I'm calling about Sarah's work on the Peterson Development Project. Oh, that's interesting. You share a name with the client. Actually, I am the client. Peterson Development is my company. Silence. Then, I'm sorry, what? I started Peterson Development 2 years ago. It's a side business. Sarah's been working on PR for my company without knowing it. But she's been telling us all about this big client, this major project. Jennifer, I need to ask you something. Has Sarah been presenting original work on this project? What do you mean? I mean, has she been writing her own copy or has she been using materials from somewhere else? Well, she's been very efficient. She came up with a complete PR strategy in just a few days. Very professional work. I sent her that strategy 6 months ago. She's been presenting my work as her own. Another long silence. Jennifer, I'm going to email you the original documents. Timestamps, revision history, everything. I think you'll find it very interesting. Dave, I don't understand. Why are you telling me this? Because Sarah and I are getting divorced, and I want to make sure she doesn't take credit for my work when she goes looking for a new job. This is very serious. If what you're saying is true, she could be fired. I'm not asking you to fire her. I'm just asking you to verify the facts. I'll need to investigate this immediately. I understand. Thanks for your time, Jennifer. I hung up and sent the email with all the documentation. Then I called my lawyer. Jerry, it's Dave Peterson. I need you to file divorce papers today. Today? That's pretty fast. I want this done quickly. Sarah's already moved out. We just need to make it official. What about property division? Everything's in my name. House, cars, accounts. She can keep her personal belongings and her 401k. Dave, that seems pretty one-sided. Are you sure she'll agree to this? She doesn't have a choice. I can prove she's been committing adultery. In Maine, that affects alimony and property division. You have proof? I have 9 months of text messages, hotel receipts, and recorded phone calls. She's been having an affair with Tyler Morrison. The councilman's son? That's the one? Jesus, Dave, you've been busy. I'm just getting started. After I hung up with Jerry, I called my friend at the Bangor Daily News. Hey, Lisa. It's Dave Peterson. I have a story for you. What kind of story? Public corruption, conflict of interest, a city councilman's son using his position to gain access to married women. That's a pretty serious accusation. I have documentation. Hotel receipts paid for with city development funds. Text messages discussing city business. Audio recordings of confidential information being shared. Are you sure about this? I'm sure. The question is, are you interested? I'm interested. Can you meet me this afternoon? I'll be there. I spent the rest of the morning putting together a comprehensive file on Tyler Morrison. His use of city resources, his access to confidential information through his father, his pattern of targeting married women connected to city business. It was all legal, all documented, and all completely devastating. By the time I was done, Tyler Morrison would be radioactive. No woman would want to be seen with him, no employer would want to hire him, and no bank would want to lend him money. Sarah thought she was leaving me for a jazz musician with connections. Instead, she was hitching her wagon to the Titanic. At 2 p.m., I met Lisa at a coffee shop downtown. She reviewed my documentation for an hour, asking questions and taking notes. This is solid work, Dave, really solid. But I have to ask, why are you doing this? Because Tyler Morrison has been using his father's position to seduce married women. My wife is just the latest victim. Victim? Lisa, Tyler Morrison is 32 years old. He's never held a real job, never paid his own bills, never faced consequences for his actions. He's a predator who uses his daddy's name to get what he wants. And what do you want? I want him to face consequences. For once in his life. What about your wife? This will destroy her too. Sarah made her choice. She chose Tyler Morrison over her marriage. Now she gets to live with that choice. Lisa nodded. I'll need to verify some of this information independently. Of course, but Lisa, this story is going to break with or without you. I've got reporters from 3 other papers interested. I understand. Give me 24 hours. You've got it. I went home that evening feeling lighter than I had in months. Sarah had spent 9 months planning my humiliation. Now it was my turn. Tuesday morning, Sarah called me at work. Dave, I need to talk to you. About what? About the divorce, about everything. What about it? I got fired yesterday. Jennifer said I was plagiarizing work. That's not true, is it? I wouldn't know. I'm just an IT guy, remember? Dave, please. I know you're angry, but this is my career, my reputation. Sarah, you've been presenting my work as your own for months. What did you think would happen? Your work? What are you talking about? Peterson Development, my company, my PR strategy, my copywriting. Silence. That's right, Sarah. You've been working on PR for my company without knowing it, and you've been taking credit for my work. But you never told me you had a company. You never asked. You were too busy complaining about my lack of ambition. This is insane. You set me up. I gave you an opportunity to do good work. You chose to steal my ideas instead. I didn't steal anything. I thought that strategy came from the client. It did. I'm the client. You're destroying my life. No, Sarah. You destroyed your own life. I'm just making sure everyone knows about it. What do you mean? Check tomorrow's paper, front page. I hung up. 20 minutes later, Tyler called. You sick bastard. You set us up. Did I? How? Peterson Development. That's your company. You've been manipulating everything from the beginning. Tyler, I started that company to give myself something to do after work. The fact that my wife ended up working on it was just a coincidence. Crap. You planned this whole thing? I planned to give Sarah a chance to do good work. I planned to see if she could be trusted with an important project. I planned to test her integrity. And she failed. Spectacularly. You're insane. No, Tyler. I'm thorough. There's a difference. What do you want from me? I want you to leave town. Tonight. Pack your things and go somewhere else. I can't do that. This is my home. Not anymore. As of tomorrow morning, everyone in Bangor is going to know exactly what kind of man you are. Your father's going to disown you. Your friends are going to avoid you. And no woman is going to want to be seen with you. You can't do this. I already have. The story runs tomorrow. Front page above the fold. Councilman's son uses city resources for personal affairs. It's going to be a very interesting read. I'll sue you. For what? Everything I gave the reporter is true. You did use city resources. You did access confidential information. You did target married women with connections to city business. That's not illegal. No, but it's unethical. And in a small town like Bangor, unethical might as well be criminal. Please, I'm begging you. Don't do this. You should have thought about that before you started sleeping with my wife. I never meant for this to happen. Sarah and I, we just fell in love. No, Tyler. You fell in lust with a married woman and convinced yourself it was love. There's a difference. What about Sarah? What's going to happen to her? Sarah's a big girl. She can take care of herself. You're destroying 2 lives over a mistake. I'm not destroying anything, Tyler. I'm just making sure the truth comes out. If that destroys your lives, maybe you should have made better choices. I hung up and went back to work. My phone rang 6 more times that afternoon, but I didn't answer. I knew it was either Sarah or Tyler, and I had nothing more to say to either of them. At 5 p.m., I drove home to my empty house. It felt good to be alone. No walking on eggshells, no fake conversations, no pretending to be something I wasn't. I made myself dinner, opened a beer, and sat down to watch the news. The lead story was about the city council's budget meeting. Councilman Morrison looked tired and stressed. He kept checking his phone and whispering to his aide. He had no idea what was coming. At 10 p.m., I got a text from Sarah. Please call me. We need to talk. I deleted it without responding. At 11 p.m., Tyler texted, I'm leaving town tomorrow. Are you happy now? I typed back, I'm getting there. Wednesday morning, I bought 5 copies of the Bangor Daily News from the corner store. The headline read, Councilman's son accused of using city resources for personal affairs. The article was everything I'd hoped for and more. Lisa had done her homework, interviewing hotel staff, city employees, and even tracking down two other married women who'd had relationships with Tyler in the past year. The photos were particularly damaging. Tyler at city functions, Tyler using his father's office, Tyler's credit card receipts from the Marriott, and in the center of the article, a photo of Tyler and Sarah together at a restaurant, holding hands across the table. My phone started ringing at 7 a.m. I turned it off. At 8 a.m., I got to work and found Tom waiting in my office. Dave, I just read the paper. Are you okay? I'm fine, Tom. Better than fine. I'm sorry about Sarah. I had no idea. Don't be sorry. This is the best thing that could have happened to me. The whole Tyler Morrison thing, that's pretty crazy. You know his father called this morning? He wants to know if the city can press charges. For what? Misuse of city resources, breach of confidentiality. He's pretty upset. I'll bet he is. Dave, can I ask you something? Sure. Did you know about this when you asked to do maintenance on the Morrison building? I looked at Tom for a long moment. I was doing my job, Tom. Keeping the city's network secure. Right, of course. He paused. Well, if you need anything, just let me know. Time off, whatever. Thanks, but I'm good. I've got a lot of work to catch up on. After Tom left, I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls, 32 text messages, and 56 emails. Most were from reporters, some were from friends, and a few were from Sarah and Tyler. I deleted everything without reading it. At lunch, I drove to the courthouse to check on the divorce proceedings. Jerry was waiting for me with a big smile. Dave, you're not going to believe this. Sarah's lawyer called this morning. She wants to settle quickly and quietly. What kind of settlement? She'll take her personal belongings and her 401k, nothing else. She just wants this over with. That's exactly what I offered her on Saturday. She's not in a position to negotiate, not after today's newspaper. Good. When can we finalize this? End of the week, if she signs the papers. Perfect. I spent the rest of the day at work, ignoring phone calls and pretending everything was normal. But I could feel people watching me, whispering about me. Some looked at me with pity, others with admiration. Dave Peterson, the quiet IT guy who'd taken down a city councilman's son. At 5 p.m., I drove to Mike's house. He was waiting on the porch with 2 beers. Rough day? He asked. Not really. Pretty good day, actually. You want to talk about what happened? Sarah was cheating on me. I found out. I decided to do something about it. You decided to destroy her life. I decided to make sure she faced consequences for her actions. Mike handed me a beer. Dave, I've known you for 15 years. This isn't like you. How do you know what I'm like? How does anyone know? I've been playing the quiet, harmless guy for so long I almost forgot who I really was. And who are you, really? I'm someone who doesn't get walked on. Someone who doesn't forgive and forget. Someone who knows how to fight back. Is it worth it? All this revenge? Ask me in a week. That night, I got a call from my mother. David, I just heard about Sarah. Are you all right? I'm fine, Mom. Really? The newspaper article made it sound like she was having an affair with that Morrison boy. She was. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Don't be. I'm better off without her. Are you sure? Marriage is hard work. Maybe you two could work things out. Mom, she spent 9 months lying to me, cheating on me, and planning to leave me. There's nothing to work out. I just hate to see you give up on love. I'm not giving up on love. I'm giving up on Sarah. What are you going to do now? I'm going to live my life, finally. After I hung up, I sat in my quiet house and thought about the future. For the first time in years, I felt like I had one. Thursday morning, I woke up to find Tyler Morrison's car in my driveway. He was sitting on my front steps, still wearing yesterday's clothes, looking like he hadn't slept in a week. We need to talk, he said when I opened the door. No, we don't. Please, 5 minutes. Tyler, you should be packing, or didn't you get the message? I got it. My father disowned me yesterday. Cut me off completely. I can't even go home. That's rough. Sarah won't return my calls. She's ashamed to be seen with me. Can't imagine why. You've destroyed my life. Everything I had, everything I was, gone. You destroyed your own life. I just made sure everyone knew about it. What do you want from me? You've already won. I'm leaving town. Sarah's divorcing you. You got everything you wanted. Did I? What else is there? I sat down on the steps next to him. Tyler, do you know what you did wrong? I slept with your wife. No, that's what you did. What you did wrong was think you could get away with it. I don't understand. You thought I was harmless? You thought I was too stupid, too weak, too boring to fight back. You made the same mistake Sarah made. What mistake? You underestimated me. Tyler looked at me with something that might have been respect. You're not the man I thought you were. No, I'm not. I'm the man I've always been. I just stopped pretending to be someone else. So what happens now? Now you leave town and start over somewhere else. Maybe you'll learn something from this experience. And Sarah? Sarah's not my problem anymore. Tyler stood up. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I really am. I know you are. You're sorry you got caught. No, I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I broke up your marriage. You didn't break up my marriage, Tyler. You just exposed how broken it already was. He walked to his car, then turned back. She did love you, at the beginning. I know. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? I already have. Forgiveness doesn't mean I have to forget. Tyler got in his car and drove away. I watched him disappear down the street, then went inside to get ready for work. At noon, Sarah called. Dave, I need to see you, to apologize. To explain. There's nothing to explain, Sarah. You wanted out of our marriage. Now you're out. I never wanted it to happen like this. I never wanted to hurt you. How did you want it to happen? You were going to leave me eventually. This just sped up the process. I made a mistake, a huge, horrible mistake. But I loved you. I still love you. No, Sarah. You loved the idea of me. The safe, boring husband who paid the bills and asked no questions. You never loved me. That's not true. It is true. You loved Tyler because he was exciting and dangerous. You loved the affair because it made you feel alive. You never loved me because I was neither exciting nor dangerous. You're wrong. Am I? When was the last time you were excited to see me? When was the last time you looked forward to spending time with me? Silence. That's what I thought. Dave, please, can we at least try to be friends? No, Sarah, we can't. We can be civil for the sake of the divorce, but we can't be friends. Friends don't do what you did to me. I understand. Good. Jerry will have the papers ready tomorrow. Sign them, and we can both move on with our lives. Will you be happy? Without me? I'm already happier than I've been in years. I'm sorry I wasn't a better wife. I'm sorry I wasn't a better judge of character. I hung up and went back to work. My phone rang twice more that afternoon, but I didn't answer. I was done talking. Friday morning, I met Jerry at the courthouse. Sarah was already there with her lawyer, looking small and defeated. She'd lost weight and her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She wasn't wearing makeup. Mr. Peterson, her lawyer said, my client would like to address you directly. I looked at Sarah. Go ahead. I want you to know that I'm sorry, not just for getting caught, but for what I did, for the lies, the betrayal, everything. You didn't deserve any of it. No, I didn't. I know you'll probably never forgive me, but I hope someday you'll understand that I never meant to hurt you. Sarah, intent doesn't matter. Results do. And the result is that you destroyed our marriage for a guy who ran out of town the minute things got difficult. I know. Do you? Because I don't think you do. I think you're sorry this happened, but I don't think you're sorry you did it. What's the difference? The difference is that if you could go back in time, you'd be more careful. You wouldn't stop the affair. You'd just hide it better. She didn't deny it. Let's just sign the papers, I said. 20 minutes later, it was over. 8 years of marriage dissolved in a stack of legal documents. Sarah walked out of the courthouse without looking back. I drove home to my empty house, opened a beer, and sat on my porch. For the first time in months, I felt completely relaxed. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Are you Dave Peterson? I read about you in the paper. I'm going through something similar with my husband. Can we talk? I deleted the message without responding. I wasn't interested in being anyone's revenge consultant. But it felt good to know that Tyler Morrison and Sarah weren't the only ones who'd learned a lesson this week. 6 months later, I was at Patty's bar with Mike, watching the Celtics game. The place was packed, loud and full of life. A new jazz musician was on stage playing actual jazz instead of pop covers. "You ever think about dating again?" Mike asked during a commercial break. "Sometimes." "Anyone in particular?" "There's a woman at work, Emma. She's nice. But, but I'm not ready. I need to figure out who I am when I'm not married to Sarah." "And who is that?" "I don't know yet, but I'm looking forward to finding out." The game came back on, and we watched in comfortable silence. Around 10 p.m., a woman approached our table. She was attractive, well-dressed, and looked familiar. "Excuse me," she said. "Are you Dave Peterson?" "Yes." "I'm Jennifer Walsh. I used to be Sarah's boss." "Oh, hi. I wanted to thank you." "For what you did." "I'm not sure what you mean." "The Peterson development thing. You exposed something we never would have caught otherwise. Sarah had been stealing work from other clients, too. We're still sorting out the mess." "I'm sorry to hear that." "Don't be. You saved our company from a lawsuit." "Maybe several lawsuits. I was just trying to protect my own work." "Well, you protected a lot more than that." She handed me a business card. "If you ever want to do consulting work, we'd love to talk to you. Your attention to detail is impressive." After she left, Mike looked at me with a grin. "Consulting work? Maybe. I've been thinking about starting my own business." "Doing what?" "Digital forensics, corporate security, helping people who need to know the truth. Like a private detective, something like that." "Dave Peterson, private detective. I like it." I laughed. "I was thinking more like Peterson Digital Solutions." "That works too." We finished our beers and walked outside. The October air was crisp and clean, and the stars were visible for the first time in weeks. "You know what I realized?" I said as we walked to our cars. "What?" "Sarah was right about one thing. I did lack ambition. I was content to be invisible, to go through the motions, to let other people make decisions for me. And now I know what I'm capable of. I know what happens when someone pushes me too far." "You think you'll ever see her again?" "I heard she moved to Portland, got a job at a small PR firm, starting over." "What about Tyler?" "Boston, last I heard. Playing piano in hotel bars?" "Do you feel bad about what happened to them?" I thought about it for a moment. "No, they made their choices. They knew the risks. And you made yours." "Yes, I did." We got in our cars and drove home in opposite directions. I parked in my driveway, walked up to my front door, and let myself into my house. My house, with my furniture, my rules, my life. I poured myself a scotch and sat in my living room thinking about the past 6 months. The divorce, the newspaper article, the quiet satisfaction of watching Tyler Morrison slink out of town with his tail between his legs. I thought about Sarah, probably sitting in some small apartment in Portland, wondering how her life had gotten so complicated. I thought about Tyler, playing sad songs for drunk tourists, and remembering when he thought he was untouchable. I thought about the woman at work, Emma, and whether I was ready to trust someone again. I thought about the future, and for the first time in years, I was excited about it. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. "Mr. Peterson, I saw your story in the paper. My husband is cheating on me. I think I need your help." I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back. "What makes you think he's cheating?" I found emails, hotel receipts. He thinks I'm too stupid to figure it out. "Are you sure you want to know the truth?" "I'm sure. I'm tired of being lied to." "Then we should meet. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., Bean Counter Coffee on State Street. Bring everything you found. How much do you charge?" "First consultation is free. After that, we'll see." I put my phone away and finished my scotch. Tomorrow, I'd start helping another underestimated spouse fight back. Tonight, I'd celebrate the fact that I'd learned how to fight for myself. I raised my glass to the empty room. "To second chances," I said out loud. Then I turned off the lights and went to bed, alone in my house, in my life, in my future. I slept better than I had in years. 1 year later, I was sitting in my new office above the bookstore on Main Street. The sign on the door read Peterson Digital Solutions, Investigative Services. I'd been in business for 8 months, and I was already booked solid. It turns out there are a lot of people in Bangor who need to know the truth about their spouses, their business partners, their employees, and I'd gotten very good at finding the truth. My assistant Emma knocked on the door. "Dave, your 3 o'clock is here." Emma had quit her job at the city and come to work for me 6 months ago. We'd been dating for 4 months, taking things slowly, building trust. Send them in, I said. A nervous-looking man in his 50s walked into my office. He sat down across from my desk and fidgeted with his wedding ring. Mr. Peterson, I think my wife is having an affair. What makes you think that? She's been working late, taking phone calls in the other room, acting secretive. And yesterday, I found a hotel receipt in her purse. Have you confronted her about it? No, I'm afraid of what she'll say. What do you want me to do? I want you to find out the truth. I want proof. I opened a file folder and pulled out a contract. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to be very honest with you. If your wife is having an affair and I find proof, your life is going to change. Your marriage might end. Your finances might be affected. Your children might get hurt. Are you prepared for that? I can't live with not knowing. All right, but I want you to understand something. Once you know the truth, you can't unknow it. You can't go back to being ignorant. The truth has consequences. I understand. Good. Then let's find out what your wife is really doing. As Mr. Johnson signed the contract, I thought about Sarah and Tyler. I wondered if they ever thought about me, if they ever wondered what their lives would have been like if they'd made different choices. I hoped they were happy. I hoped they'd learned something from what happened. But mostly, I hoped they understood that actions have consequences and that sometimes the quiet guy in the corner is the most dangerous person in the room. Not because he's violent or cruel, but because he's smart, patient, and tired of being underestimated. Mr. Johnson left with a handshake and a promise to call if he needed anything. I walked to the window and looked out at the street below. People hurrying to and from their jobs, their lives, their secrets. My phone rang. Peterson Digital Solutions. Dave, it's Mike. You want to grab dinner tonight? Emma's invited too. Sure. Where? How about that new place on Union Street? I heard they have good jazz. I laughed. Jazz sounds perfect. What's so funny? Nothing. Just thinking about how much things have changed. For the better? Definitely for the better. I hung up and turned back to my desk. I had 3 more cases to work on before the end of the day. A cheating spouse, an embezzling employee, and a business partner who was stealing client lists. All of them thought they were smarter than the people they were betraying. All of them thought they could get away with it. They were about to learn the same lessons Sarah and Tyler had learned. I wasn't the harmless IT guy anymore. I was Dave Peterson, and I specialized in making sure the truth came out. No matter how much it hurt. As I opened the first case file, I smiled. It was good to be underestimated. It made the victory so much sweeter.